Good morning. It's good to see you all. I'm just absolutely thrilled to be able to introduce our presenter today, Paige. She's right here in the front row. We are a member of P.E.A.C.E. If you're not aware, we have been for many years, and there are 23 churches, fellowships, congregations, synagogues that are members of P.E.A.C.E. And every year they have initiatives. How many were the first bus trip up north to attend a P.E.A.C.E.? We used to go to the convention center on the bus with Harris, who made us cookies. Anybody here? A few of you. Well, guess what? We always have cookies, no matter what, I'm telling you. So this year, the Nehemiah Action will be in the spring, and Paige will let us know about the details. Paige? Thank you.
I've heard amazing things about these brownies. For years, I've heard great things about these brownies. So I need Harris to come to the next Nehemiah Action and bring brownies. So you all heard that, and I know you're close to Harris, so. So good morning. It is so good to be with you all. I see familiar faces and new faces. My name is Paige Shortsleeves, and I am one of the organizers with P.E.A.C.E. Here in Palm Beach County. And I know some of us are very familiar with P.E.A.C.E. and others are like, I have never heard of this. So we're going to start with, what is P.E.A.C.E.? So founded in 1991, P.E.A.C.E. brings together 25 congregations now, we've added 2 more, to hold political and economic systems accountable for the fair treatment of everyone, no matter where you live, what you look like, how much money you have. We ask the questions like, why can't this person afford rent in the first place? What systems, what policies make the rent high, or make it so we don't have a living wage to pay that rent? And then we take action to change those systems and policies here locally. We know that in our society, power listens to 2 things, or the people in power listen to 2 things. Lots of money and large groups of organized people. And I don't have millions of dollars lying around to throw at these politicians, but we do have people of faith who are called to love their neighbor. And that means all of our neighbors, not just the neighbors who look like us. So each year, P.E.A.C.E. brings over 1,000 people together for our Nehemiah Action, where we call on our elected officials to take action to make our community better. And it's worked. In our years together, we've had great success. Over 4,000 people have gotten community IDs because of our work, allowing people to enter gated communities, pick their kids up from school, get the services they need. And because of our work most recently, Sheriff Bradshaw is finally tracking data on every single traffic stop in Palm Beach County, and that data is being analyzed for racial profiling by an outside agency. So we can address that before it snowballs into something bigger. Yes, and you all were part of that, so thank you. But we have a vision. We want to build a beloved community, and I love when I come to a UU service because beloved community is mentioned all the time. We want to build a beloved community here on earth today. And I think everyone at some point in their life has heard the Lord's Prayer. I did not grow up in a church, and even I have heard the Lord's Prayer. But I want to call our attention to one line. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. On earth as it is in heaven. That line does not say, thy kingdom come while we wait and earth is terrible and we wait for heaven one day. It's calling us to build heaven, whatever that looks like to you, here. So we are called to create the beloved community here and now, even if it seems incomplete in our troubled times. And we can be honest, we're in troubled times with a capital T. And it feels like every moment there's a new executive order, there's a new news alert, there's a new bad something, it feels like. And it's overwhelming. And that's the point. How much can we be inundated with information, with bad news, before we become indifferent to what's happening? It is the curse of humanity that we learn to tolerate even the most horrible situations out of habit because it's all we've seen. And at P.E.A.C.E. we say no. We say no to this culture of indifference. We want a culture of concern for our neighbors, and that starts with listening. And that's why I love that you all do the circle of care. So when was the last time we answered honestly when someone asked us, how are you? How is everything going? In our surface level society, it is very common for us to answer a question like that with, I'm fine, everything's great, even if everything is actually awful. We're not honest. We've been trained to keep our problems and our needs to ourselves. And when we do this, we do a deep disservice to the relationships we wish to form between ourselves, each other, and our community. It's through our honest conversations that we get to know each other, and we get to know the community that we are part of. So that's why every year P.E.A.C.E works with our congregations, and we host 100 listening sessions across Palm Beach County. And during these listening sessions, we're asked questions like, what challenges in our community weigh most heavily on your heart, and how have you been impacted? And these are a practice in sharing your own story and actively listening to others. It's a practice in bearing witness to pain and suffering that is so common in our world, we just don't talk about it. And these listening sessions are my favorite. If you've been around P.E.A.C.E enough, I say that every year. I love them so much. They're where we hold space for each other, where we hear each other. And when we make space to actively listen to one another and honor the feelings and experiences we have, we find and we feel the divine presence among us. The divine presence is with us in that space. So I've gotten permission to share some of these stories that come out of listening sessions to give you a sense of what we hear when we ask the question, when we listen. First, a young widowed father is raising his 2 children by himself after losing his wife from cancer. He's a firefighter in Palm Beach County, he has been for years. He can't afford to pay rent. His rent keeps increasing. And he can't afford to pay rent on top of medicine and school supplies and all the other things. So he had to move back in with his 80-year-old mother. He's a man with a full-time job, right? A mom who had to call 911 for help because her adult son was suicidal and was threatening suicide. She called 911 as a last resort and asked them, please send your mental health crisis team. My son has schizophrenia and is scared of police. Please don't send them. She drove over to her son's house after 911 assured her no police would be there. She pulled up to the front of the house to her son in the middle of the street with 5 officers surrounding him with guns drawn. He was handcuffed and taken away, and she had no idea where he was. It took her 3 days to find her son because they took him to Port St. Lucie to another hospital, wouldn't give her access to him. He didn't have any of his medication, his medical records. And at the end of 3 days, he was released with no care and no follow-up. And today, this woman, I meet with her regularly, she's still scared for her son. Nothing was fixed. And she has told me, I will not call 911 again because of the trauma and the pain that my son and I went through in that moment. And the last one, the one that they all break my heart, but this one, a mom who has been in this country for over 15 years was deported with her 2 children under the age of 3, U.S. citizen children under the age of 3. She fled her homeland, not because she thought the U.S. would be a vacation and fun, but because of the destruction, gang violence, and economic reality of her home country, frankly, that the United States caused. She fled her home country for a better life, and she came here and she started that life. She went through the process. She was in the process of applying for a green card. She filled out the papers. And in that process, she had a job, did not have a criminal record. She got married to an American citizen. She had 2 American citizen children, one of which was 3 months old at the time of this story. And earlier this year, back in February, she received a call from her immigration officer who told her, come to my office, I have good news for you, bring your children. And she was excited because this was the call she had waited for. So she did what he asked. She brought her children and she went. And she was detained and put into immediate deportation orders and given no time to call the father of her children to take them. So she had a choice of I give my 2 children under the age of 3 to American immigration officers, or I take them to my home country. And she did it. And in 24 hours, she was back in her home country that she had not seen in 15 years. This is reality of our broken world. These are the stories we hear when we ask the question, what weighs on your heart? And when we listen to understand, not to fix it, because frankly, we're not going to fix that right now. But how do I hear you and listen? And the divine presence is found in these stories, in these moments where we hold space for those people, when we hold space for each other. It's not found, divine presence is not found in the thunderous loudness of certain politicians. This is the reality of it. And so, as Father Gutierrez, the father of liberation theology, and my personal one of my idols, reminds us, the poverty of the poor is not a call to generous relief action, but a demand that we go and build a different social order. So what does building a different social order look like in Palm Beach County? To me, it is a community where everyone is cared for, absent poverty, hunger, absent hate, where there's enough money for housing, transportation, healthcare, where people aren't kidnapped off the street and disappeared because of their immigration status, where everyone is loved and treated with the dignity and respect they deserve because everyone deserves that. And this beloved community is possible when we dream big, when we answer the call to do justice. But to do that, we have to find courage to live in a better world, to live into the dream that there is a better world out there. We have to have a prophetic imagination. So this fall, you all are invited to be part of that prophetic imagination and to listen. So the fellowship will be one of the congregations participating in these sacred listening sessions, and all of you here are invited to join us. Come, share your story, listen to those around you, and commit to take action together. These listening sessions will be held on Tuesday, September 16th at 7 p.m., and on Sunday, September 28th, following service right here. And we'll have handouts. I have flyers that have all the dates, and I know we'll put it in the bulletin and stuff like that. But I hope you'll join us as we transform our community into the beloved place it's supposed to be, where everyone is welcome and accepted and loved as they are, and where there's more than enough to go around. And so in closing, for my part, I'd love to share a poem with you that I read recently that has just been percolating in my brain for the last few months. It says, history says, don't hope on this side of the grave. But then once in a lifetime, the longed for tidal wave of justice can rise up and hope and history rhyme. So thank you, and I'll see you back in September.